everyone, this is Vaishali Gambhir. I am part of Knowledge and Advisory Team, SHRM. Today we have with us our esteemed guest, Mr. Vincent Keny, Head Learning and Development, Boston Scientific. Today he'll be sharing with key insights on how talent management practices and strategy at Boston Scientific are helping them achieve the vision and the business strategy, the goals for the company. Vincent, over to you.
Okay, so I've been in the L&D business for last 20 years, and a major part of my career, which is for last 7 years, I've been with Boston Scientific. In Boston Scientific, learning and development is hardcore value. It's just not a checkbox tick item. And having been said that, we work with premier partners who are grounded into serious business of developing people, who have products which are research based, have a high credibility, have a high coefficient of validity and reliability. So we struck a deal with SHRM, and I'm very happy and glad that being a learning person, SHRM has done a fabulous job for last 3 years at Boston Scientific. This is my second conference here in Hyderabad, and I've enjoyed each and every bit of it. I strongly recommend SHRM as a learning partner to all those organizations who take learning as a serious business. So I think I'll give you some couple of perspective on this. We were the first site in Boston Scientific across 40 countries to land in a program which was for women empowerment, which is called We Lead. And this We Lead program was specifically designed to get women into higher strategic leadership positions. I feel very proud that SHRM was a preferred partner to run that program, and we did a successful cohort which was branded across the Boston Scientific world, from the US to India, that the kind of quality that cohort came in with Boston Scientific collaboration. They got the best speakers, they got the best learning tools, they got the best interaction, and we are now getting up for the second cohort this year, same on women empowerment. So what I'm trying to say is here, if you do not like to get into, because of the internet has been flooded with so many learning tools which are not proprietary, which are not known, which are just cut, copy, pasted. If you don't want to get, if you want to get away from this approach, get into SHRM and be guided for your learning departments. So I hand it over to you for a couple of questions in case if you have, and I'll be more than happy to answer that.
Sure. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you so much. And having been associated with Boston Scientific since last 3 years, and we can vouch for that, we have seen very few clients who are actually committed to the cause. So we see many clients working as they have the agenda from the top, they have the agenda from the board, and what they are doing is the checkbox exercise. The involvement, the commitment, the passion that Boston Scientific team showed in developing their women leaders was outstanding, and that was also the key for us to achieve success with the program, with the outcomes. So Vincent, talking about the We Lead as the Women Empowerment Program, so would you want to talk about some of the outcomes and how now you are taking it back in the organization, how the women are taking it back in the organization, and do you see some change there in the behaviors, in the leadership behaviors that they demonstrate?
So Boston Scientific is in a medical device industry. It's a niche player. And let me also, before I answer this question, let me give you the role of this program and why it's important. A medical device industry has rare seen women taking strategic positions as vis-a-vis the pharmaceutical industry. And we had this space of getting up women for taking up higher roles, strategic positions, and to do well for their careers. Now, when this program has come to an end, and what she asked that how it's going to be the outcome driven, these women are going to be superseding in their careers, and they will be given complex goals. And not only complex goals, they will be given a very diversified tangent in their career aspirations. About 6 months to 8 months back, there was a skill set which they hold, and post 6 months to 8 months back, once we had the program with SHRM, the skill set, the skill repertoire has expanded, has refined. Now, if you want to grow up women into higher strategic roles, you just can't do it overnight. What happens if you give a responsibility and it's not done properly? On the contrary, the person also loses confidence. How do you enhance the skill repertoire? It's just not with one training intervention or one coaching principle. It has to have a divergent absorption of learning from across different tangents. And there where this program came in, and the first outcome is the people who went through these programs, which were all about 18 women at Boston Scientific, were chosen after a great talent search among the company. And once they were put onto it, now when I see them, they are going to pick up very challenging roles, challenging for their careers, and now they're equipped with skills after this program. And more than that, there will be a lot of personal growth. Now, how would you grow a person in your career? Just not by giving certifications. The 70% of actual learning outcomes come on the job. It's just 20 to 30% that comes from instruction-led mechanisms in the classroom. 20% maybe from another coaching experiences, but 70% happens on the job. And this program is directly linked to its job application, where SHRM has done their best. And the second most important outcome is that these women would handle independent leadership responsibilities across the globe, not only in India. And the third most important outcome would be, and this is the final one, now the women who are there to come in for the next cohort see them as their role idols. Now, this has become a brand in Boston Scientific. We Lead has become a brand in Boston Scientific, which is power backed by SHRM. And because it's a brand, we want people to come and aspire for it, qualify for it, and make a space to get into the next cohort. So the outcome is completely, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Vaishali.
The outcome is completely, Vaishali is application driven.
Yeah.
And people see changes in their career.
Correct.
That's what we committed, and that's what we committed to SHRM, that we continue this journey cohort after cohort.
Definitely. Thank you, Vincent. So that brings to me, there are a lot of, buzz in the media about, the skills for the future. There's a huge skill gap that the media is talking about, the market is talking about. In your perspective, for Boston Scientific to achieve their goals, what do you think are some of the key niche skills that you're looking at in building your employees?
Okay, that's a very good question, and I'm glad it came through. Boston Scientific focuses always on future skills. Now, there is a kind of a conventional mindset that programs and interventions which you did about last year or maybe a couple of years back, or what you've been doing, something like a communication skills or the business has changed, and so forth, the skills required are also changed. And if you do not change the interventions that you have, you would not sort the right kind of an experience and the outcome from any learning and development department. We focus on future skills. And when we focus on future skills, we are also committed to get the best partners. We are also running a program which is called Fast Future First, which is directly done from the US, from one of the companies, which is very strong in it. But we need to we are very focused on the future skills. Every year, we upgrade the skills and we upgrade the relevant interventions to it. And even in the next cohort of We Lead, though the agenda remains the same, but the skills will have a different flavor of it. Because even in the last 1 year, the responsibilities what women will handle has changing, not drastically, but there is a needle improvement in terms of change. Why? The technology is changing every year. And we are a med device company completely backed by technology. And if somebody in any business today says that we have nothing to do with technology, it's very difficult to believe. Even if it's a cement factory, it doesn't matter. So as the technology changes, the skills changes. And with that skills, a lot of things changes, because we are now focusing on a hybrid mode of working. And in this hybrid mode of managing people across the globe, all the people managers have gone through a different league of change. It's not the conventional where you find people working just beneath your nose, and hybrid mode is completely different, but the challenges are different. So our next upcoming programs are future tech-based. They are based what people managers faces today vis-a-vis what they were facing prior to COVID. So the focus is completely in future skills, more into technology, more into dynamic, more into VUCA leadership, and more than that, keeping pace with time and context. And women still happens to be our prime agenda to grow them into strategic roles. So we are a future-oriented company when it comes to learning and development. We are not stagnated to conventional approaches.
And Vincent, today, for the right outcomes to be achieved through any learning program, the focus is on experiential learning and not just a hybrid like you mentioned about the classroom, the coaching, the AI. Even today the AI is coming to the picture, for having that, the technology driven learning happening for the employees. So as the L&D head at Boston Scientific, what is your thoughts? What are some of the mechanisms that you feel work best when we look at the experiential learning for the employees?
Okay, so all our learning is experiential. First of all, let me clear that out.
Yeah.
There is no learning which is philosophical, at least at Boston Scientific. Uh, we are a company that also gets compassion and intelligence and business together. I'll just take a small example here. When COVID was on, Boston stopped its production and made ventilators, though that's not a prime product, and put it across to the world without any business behind it. But that was compassion. And even the value system that Boston holds, learning is a clear critical value because the value is caring. And when it comes to something like AI, our company does all the work with all the premier technology. If you know about a little bit on medical devices, we have high-end stents or high-end medical products which saves people's life into hospitals. So our learning base is completely experiential. When I say that, it's not only in the classrooms that we are doing it, even our virtual programs which are technology based are not just some portal that you just log in.
Correct.
And you just see a trainer speaking and you just key in, type in. No, we have the latest WebEx that's playing place from different corners of the world. We have programs that runs into the best institutes across the world, like MIT Sloan School of Business, wherein these people log into the virtual classrooms and take direct lectures from the professors of MIT and Harvard. Now, when you say is this is an experience, yes, I call it an experience because this is not something that is happening everywhere. Because for us, a people is everything, and we do not. Last thing to your answer, we do not bind people. We don't say that companies invested X million dollars, you sign 4 years bond, you will not move. We don't do into all that. We say if you come into Boston Scientific, you've got a development goal, we help you doing that goal, and you just make your goal, do good for the company, do good for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And Vincent, you mentioned, when you particularly mentioned about the example that how swiftly Boston Scientific shifted to making the ventilators, though it was not a primary segment that you are into. That also, and having interacted with the leadership there, I want audience to know that this is the example and the role modeling behavior of the agile leadership that people talk about. So this is live in action that we have seen in Boston Scientific as well, not just on the business front, and also in the L&D initiatives. How quickly, how swiftly they move from very conventional to a very explosive and disruptive technologies. So Vincent, also would want to know from you that today, unfortunately, there are segments that still see L&D as a sidelined, the department, right? And it's very unfortunate because the whole your business success is basis on how well the employees are performing, how skilled they are, how ready they are for the future, like the future skills you mentioned.
Yes.
So any key messages or any thoughts where you see that in some of the companies where that is not the ideal situation yet, you see how L&D as a department can work hands in hands with the strategy, the business, so that the right importance is given to upskilling employees.
Okay, so it's unfortunate that people still perceive L&D as a support system.
Yeah.
My one line definition to L&D is it's an expert system.
Yeah.
It's not a support system.
Definitely.
And there is nothing called support system today. So L&D directly re-emphasizes the skills which
Yes.
gets business.
Yeah.
The companies which still feel that learning and development is an expense would certainly realize very soon that it's an investment.
Yeah.
Because today people don't work for money, CTC, salaries or packages, they
Yes.
work for development. And this development can only happen if you're serious about the L&D affair in your company. So I would say it's the most premier mode of investment into your people.
Yeah.
If you really want to grow business, you grow people, the business grows. But how would you grow people? You have to grow the skills. You just can't give a sermon on a philosophy or a jargon. That doesn't work. And if you just keep on investing into that, it gives you no return. You have to build a learning journey for your employees. You have to tie in with partners like SHRM to support that learning journey for your employees. And finally, after building those learning journeys, you have to give a career aspiration to your employees. You just cannot say, I invested on you, now you keep on doing the work that you're doing. You need to have a career roadmap for your employees. And that's where all these things stitch into it. And all learning and development initiatives are invested well, and they can be reinforced and they can be measured with an outcome against business. Even if it's something like a behavioral intervention, it can also be measured in vis-a-vis to business outcomes. So it's not an investment that you can't measure. Many people have this myth that you cannot measure an L&D investment. You cannot measure dollar to dollar, but if you see when it comes to the business enlargement, L&D happens to be the most preferred investment. And one caution I would say, just to conclude to this question, is that if you're not investing in your people today, the talent will not stay in your company. This is a proven fact. If people today do not work for money only, they also work for development. If you're not able to give development in your organizational ethos, you would not be able to hold horses in your company. Donkeys can stay, that's fine.
Thank you so much, Vincent. And we are proud to be working for the clients like Boston Scientific, who have such evolved, the mindset when it comes to L&D. Any closing thoughts, Vincent, that you want to share with the audience here?
I would say that, just last closing thought is that people are the greatest assets. We've all been hearing in it. Now the time has come to invest in your people and grow. You can be an individual contributor, you can be a people manager. You have to enhance your skill repertoire. And when I say skills repertoire, it's not only the technical skills. That anyway will happen functionally. It is the skills which are more critical. The functional skills are okay. There was a time when we needed to put money or investment into it. But the critical skills what I'm talking, which is emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, having a visionary mindset, looking how to grow a people when you are a people manager. These are critical skills. Now the time has come, you start investing on the critical skills. Otherwise, this dynamic business scenario, your business won't survive. So my closing comment is now, it's okay to have the functional skills, be more cognizant on the critical skills of your people, spot critical skills in every role, and invest your money on putting on critical skills. And having been said that, I shouldn't be repeating it, tie in with people like SHRM and grow and understand what capability that you have. You're actually sitting on a treasure. If you have talent in your company, do not lose that so easily. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Like చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి. For more information, subscribe and stay tuned to ITTV.